Hello, my name is Zach Short, and today I'm going to talk about lower order thinking. We'll be focusing this lesson for an LA3 class, Language Arts junior level class. And for this, we're going to do it over one class period, which lasts approximately 50 minutes. The objective will be that after reading the short story, The Outcasts of Poker Flat by author Bret Harte, students will summarize the hypocrisy of the secret committee of the town of Poker Flat. And so, in this, with the lower order thinking, we are asking students to simply summarize the information given regarding a bit of the plot from the story. The anticipatory set, which we will begin with, should take about 5 minutes. And I'll have that marked on the clock. The question I will ask students to get them thinking, get them introduced to the lesson for the day, is I'll ask them, how would you react to being kicked out of a group or club by others who demonstrated the same behaviors as you? Students will write down the response on a piece of paper or our note-taking application, most usually Notability is what we use, on their iPads. And from their work on the iPads, they can simply email it to me and I can give a quick assessment of it. What we are looking at with the anticipatory set is to kind of get them familiar with the idea of hypocrisy, fairness, and how people respond in certain situations. And so, based on the straightforwardness of the plot development and character development of the story, students will not only be able to identify these things that take place in the Outcast of Poker Flat, but they will also be able to reflect back on personal experiences they may have had in their lives, and they can draw those extremely important connections. As we move from the anticipatory set, we will go right into direct instruction and modeling, and this will take approximately 20 minutes. What we will do is I will begin by discussing the concept of fairness with the students, and in this I will present a couple things based on the story, but also based on real world experience, and I will ask them certain questions. One of them being, is life always fair? And they can simply say yes or no. I will not ask them to expand too much on this. I'm just interested in their personal opinion because then we can kind of tie it into whether it was fair for the exiled members of the Outcasts of Poker Flat. The other question I want to know from them as I'm engaging in this is, do the actions of other people reflect you as a person? And they can simply answer yes or no after giving it a little bit of thought. And we will also be tying that back into the story. To help model what I'd like for them to understand as far as hypocrisy goes, is I'll demonstrate it in the classroom. I can do that by saying one thing and acting another way. Um, so I can say, don't sit in your chair with your feet off the ground as I sit in my chair at the front of the room with feet off the ground. Uh, I can also do something to kind of reflect one of the students, the way they're acting, and I can chastise them for doing the same thing. Maybe they're hitting their pencil on their desk or something like that. But I want them to have a very visceral, tangible example right in front of the classroom that they, will be able to see and make a strong connection to. And from this, I'm going to ask him, do you recognize the hypocrisy in the teacher's behavior? That's going to give us a deeper understanding of what hypocrisy is, and that will help us to better understand just what the secret committee of Poker Flat was really up to when they sent the four exiles off to eventually their doom. After we've transitioned from direct instruction and modeling, we'll spend approximately 20 minutes in guided practice. And this is going to help, split the class time up evenly from direct instruction modeling and into guided practice. And it's also going to give the students an opportunity to put some of what we got out of direct instruction modeling into practice. So on the step-by-step of guide and practice, we'll have students provide one example of hypocrisy towards one exiled character from Poker Flat. And so they could choose, John Oakhurst, who was a gambler and who made his money gambling. And they can identify the fact that, well, yes, John Oakhurst was a gambler, and maybe that's not right, but how is he able to make his money? Wouldn't other people of the town had to have been gambling for him to win that money gambling? And we can use that, the example of John Oakhurst and how he was really sent out because he was the winner. He was taking the money, and the people who were losing money to him, they were gambling too, but they were hypocrites for their decision. And we can ask, is that fair? Was that fair to John Oakhurst? And students, will be able to consider, well, he wasn't a perfect man because he did gamble, but the punishment didn't fit the crime, and the other people obviously had it out for him. The other thing we can do with our guided practice is we can make a list, which is a great example of a lower order thinking skill, and we can list the good actions of one of the characters exiled from Poker Flat. And where we really find these good actions is after they've been exiled and they're on their journey through the mountains to the next town. And we see that despite perhaps being bad on the surface, deep down, when faced with doom and peril, they had more goodness than maybe we initially suspected, and certainly more goodness than the secret committee of Poker Flat who exiled them thought. And what I would ask the students then is, was that character properly judged by the committee? I just mentioned earlier in the case of Oakhurst that perhaps the punishment didn't fit the crime, but I want to find that out. If we can see those good actions, the self-sacrifice of Mother Shipton, the maternal caring and compassion of the Duchess, the selflessness of Oakhurst, maybe we can see, okay, based on these further examples in the story, were they properly judged by the committee? And students can draw their own conclusions on that. After the guided practice, what we'll do is we'll spend 5 minutes working on a closure set. And the closure set for us is to kind of put in summation the day's lesson plan, bring it back full circle to the original idea in the anticipatory set, give the students something to hold on to as they leave class. They've drawn certain connections, and they'll be ready to pick up with the next lesson the following day. And so I will ask the students in the closure set, much like I asked in the anticipatory set, I will ask them, if you were kicked out of a group or club by others who demonstrated the same behaviors, would it define you as a person, or would you still be capable of good actions? And all I'm looking for with this is for students, to draw on connections from the story if they must. They may not be able to provide an example. They've probably never experienced this. But if they understand the idea, fairness and hypocrisy, and the goodness of people, some of these themes from the natural story, they'll be able to provide an example or provide some type of idea they got from the summary that they have done. Students will write these responses on a piece of paper if they choose, or they may email them to me if they feel like they want to work on their iPad, and I will have all of them right in front of me. The closure set for this is also going to work as the assessment of the day, because I'm going to be able to pour over what the students said, what their response was, look at how they're thinking, be able to put some notes together on their understanding, see what I need to rework, see what I need to spend more time going over, or see if we are ready to move on and cover some of the next themes of the story. So the main idea with this lesson, again, is to have the students summarize um, what had taken place with the secret committee, how the characters were set forth in motion by being exiled from Poker Flat, and then be able to, from their summaries, reach out and draw some conclusions, base it on real life experiences, apply it to real life experiences, start to develop some more critical thinking skills within the lesson, and in the process, gain a better understanding of the story, The Outcasts of Poker Flat, and perhaps even a better understanding of themselves and how their behaviors are looked at, and how, if it's possible, for redemption in some sort of way. So, anyway, this is just a basic, middle of the road, lower order thinking lesson plan for juniors in high school in language arts class. And I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.